Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Victoria's Crafty Creations. I'm Victoria. I'm part of the Tonic Studios design team here in the UK, and today I would like to share with you the Rainy Day die and stamp collection. This has just launched very recently this weekend on Create and Craft, and I've had requests from a lady called Lainey Bennett. So hello Lainey. She saw a card that I'd created for launch that took her eye and would like to know how to make it. So I said if I get 5 minutes spare, I will do my best. So here we are. Now I'm having to do a voiceover, guys. I do apologise. I recorded this whole video and it recorded with no sound. So I'm going to try my best to guide you through this video with me doing a voiceover. Now your set will not come on a magnetic sheet. It will just come with its packaging, and this is just, whilst I've been using it, it's on an A4 sheet. As you can see, it's a stunning umbrella. It has lots of decorative panels. As always with Tonic, you will get a plain layering die. So you can use all your pattern papers if you wish to have a nice fancy brolly with some lovely pattern floral papers, or a parasol, of course. It doesn't just have to be an umbrella. And with Tonic having the plain edge dies, that just comes in ever so handy, and it gives you plenty more choices. Here you have the stem of the umbrella, and again you could cut this bottom piece again to match the colour of your umbrella. Maybe you're going to cut the stem out of a silver, a mirror card or a satin card. Here you've got several other designs that go with the umbrella. And then we have a wide collection now of Wellington boots. There's a large for Daddy, there's a medium for Mummy, and then there's a baby one there. Each Wellington comes with this separate piece for the sole, and you also get a top piece for the umbrella just to add that extra decorative element to your Wellington boot. There's also, some of the boots actually do have the sole inbuilt, so you won't have to add that to all of them, just some of them. As you'll see, there are 3 different size bows to add to either your parasol, umbrella or boot. We have a lovely sentiment there. We also have 2 like pieces of grass, so you can then make a scene with the wellies and the grass. We also have there the buckles, so you can decorate with the buckles. And then we have this little raindrop die, which will come in handy for water coming out of the watering can, or just randomly on your card for raindrops. You also have a star and a heart, and then you have this circular die which you can add to your floral elements. So if you don't want to add Nouveau drops, you could just add a coloured centre to all your flowers. We also have a set of little flowers in there, and we also have this die, and that's like your foliage and your green stems all on one die. So that's a lifesaver, because if you were to lose a tiny little die of fern, you'd be extremely upset. So it's not as easy to lose them all being on one piece. So I'm going to now show you through the stamps in the set, and there's some absolutely fabulous sentiments in here. So we're going to bring it closer to the camera for you to have a look. So we're going to start off, you have to a special, and that could be brother, sister, father, daughter, mother, friend or son. No rain, no flowers, queen of the garden, absolutely fantastic sentiment. Sorry you're feeling under the weather. And then we have the one about the puddles, which is an absolutely gorgeous sentiment. And I think you are welly amazing, which, I mean, it is a pun on words, but it is absolutely perfect. So those are your stamps that come with the set as well. So we'll place those to one side, and then we'll place the dies to one side in a moment. and then I will guide you through the card that I have created. This card has done the rounds. It's been in several different sizes that I know of, but it's become a very popular little card of late. I have no idea where the original source came from, but as I say, these cards do the rounds. So let's get all our bits and pieces together here. I will be using this tonic trimmer. Now, I used to use this trimmer for cutting and scoring. I actually use this now for scoring because I use the Tim Holtz rotary trimmer for cutting. It's on my desk and it gets used every day. For those of you that haven't seen it or used it, it's an amazing rotary trimmer. It's so easy to use and very accurate if used correctly. But this is the trimmer that I use for my memory books. This is the trimmer that I use for scoring all my different shaped cards and folds, because it saves me having to have a scoreboard as well. I can just use the trimmer. Here is the Tim Holtz rotary. So this is the trimmer of my choice, and I use that all day long. So we're going to need for this card 2 pieces of cardstock measuring 4 inches by 8 inches. So that's 2 pieces of card measuring 4 by 8. We're going to put some score lines in place. Excuse me. So we're going to place the cardstock in the trimmer long ways. There we go. And we are going to score this cardstock. And I take the cutting blade out there. Okay. So we're going to score at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, we're then going to flip the card so it's long ways, and then with a pencil we're going to line the left side edge up and we're going to mark top and bottom at 2 inches with a pencil. Just mark it very lightly, and that track indicates there where you need to put your mark. And then what we want to do is cut from the score line, the 2-inch score line, to the pencil mark that we've just done. And we're going to trim that corner completely off on all 4 corners on both pieces of cardstock. So from the score line to the pencil line again. And repeat the same on the opposite end, from the score line to the pencil mark, from the score line to the pencil mark. And you should have 2 pieces looking exactly the same. So we can get rid of the paper trimmer now. And then with a bone folder, so you get nice creased edges, you want to crease the card. So you'll see me here do a mountain fold, and then we need a valley fold. Now you'll see me do a mountain and we need a valley. So it's a mountain, valley, valley. There we go. See that now? You've got a mountain, a valley and a valley. And you should have a triangular piece this way on, and a triangular piece the same way on the inside. Okay, so mountain, valley, valley. And then you'll need a piece on the opposite side that's valley, valley, mountain. Now, as you'll see, I've got two pieces joined together here, and I'm taking them apart just to show you how I put it together. So as you can see, both pieces are identical, but they're opposite way round, okay? So with mountain, valley, 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 mountain. And what we want to do, we want to flip these two pieces of card over. So we're looking at the back of it. And I want you to put both pieces together, and with your low tack tape, whether it's tonic or whatever you have to hand, place them on the back to hold them together. Make sure there's no gap, but they're not overlapping. They're just meeting in the middle. These will hold it in place until we place the next part of the card together, and then we can remove the tape and the card will be glued together. If you haven't tried this low tack tape, guys, from Tonic, please give it a go. It's so cheap to purchase. I've been very loyal to another company for many years, and their tape became so expensive and the quality wasn't as good as it used to be. This tape, however, is amazing. So now you'll see it looks like a whole complete card and it's joined together. But to make sure it is joined together, we want to cut a piece of card, a square piece of card, which is 2 7/8 square. So it's 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. That measurement I've just given you is for the two pieces that need to go on the outer edge, 2 7/8 square. The piece in the centre, which I'm showing you now, needs to be 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So it's 2 3/4 square, this centre piece of card. And you'll find you've just got a very slight border around the edge, and there is a reason for that. It's so that we don't overlap the score lines each side, because if we do that, we won't be able to fold the card. So this one piece of card in the centre is 2 3/4 square. So we can remove these two pieces of tape now, because that card isn't going to go anywhere. Now we've placed the square on the front. That holds it together. So now we want two squares that are 2 7/8 square. And this is for each end. We're not going to actually stick these down just yet, because we need to add the decorative panels first. So we need 4 green strips of card that measure 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. That's 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. You will also need 4 strips of pattern paper, which are 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So that's 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to glue those together and place them on the card. Now obviously be very careful when you're using pattern paper with the way your pattern goes. Make sure when you trim them that you're trimming them so that they're the right way up. So here we're just using our deluxe adhesive as always. You'll not find me very often use red liner, only every now and again. Wet adhesive is the way to go. It's more cost effective and it gives you that little bit of wiggle room. It's a little bit more forgiving, because when tape is down, tape is down. But you've got the longevity of glue. So I've done 3 other panels already. So we're going to add wet adhesive to the back of these panels and adhere them into the card. It's easier to do these panels now than it is before you add all the triangular pieces at the end. Or the square pieces, I should say. They look like triangular pieces, but actually square pieces. There we go. And this is just some pattern paper I had in my stash. I think it was from a Forever Friends bear collection I bought absolutely a long time ago. Let's put it that way. More years than I care to mention, and it's been just sat there for a rainy day. Pardon the pun. There we go. So that's your 4 panels on. Now we want to add the end panels. So this is where you're going to add the 2 7/8 squares to the end of each part of the card. There we go. The green square for the center panel is 2.5 inches square, and the pattern paper is 2 1/4 square. For the outer squares, your green piece of card needs to be 2 5/8 square, and the pattern paper needs to be 2 3/4 square, and that just gives you a nice border around each side of the squares there. So I'll repeat that again. The green squares are 2 5/8 square, and the pattern paper is 2 3/4 square. And you're going to need 2 for each end. You'll notice you only need glue on 1/2 because you need that to move freely, as it will create like a dimensional card. So now we're going to add the panel to the other end of the card. There we go. Again, wet adhesive just on that half. Don't need to put glue on the other half. And then we're going to adhere that down, point to point. There we go. And it only takes the glue a few seconds to go tacky. And then we can move on to the next part. And then that's the base of the card made. So you'll see, only glue on 1/2. So now we need to add that decorative layer to the center square. So again, the green square is 2 1/2 inches square, and the pattern paper is 2 1/4 square. And we're going to add that now to that center part of the card using the wet adhesive. And everything is glued flat to this card because we actually want the card to fold up, and so we don't want a lot of dimension on the inside of the card. So we might add a foam pad to the outer edge of the card just to give it a little bit of depth, but the inside will be completely flat. Apologies if you can hear my husband plodding around. I think he's got size 12 feet. Well, he hasn't, he's size 10, but he sounds like he's got size 12 feet. I've been waiting to do this video all afternoon, but the children have been playing outside. So here I've made one of the Wellington boots up, and the bottom layer is in white and the top detail layer is in red. We've also cut a little bow and a top portion. So I'm adding glue to the back of my hand because that's the way I like to work. If you have allergies, please do not put glue on the back of your hand. Place it on your mat or a little poly pocket bag and pick the glue up that way. We don't want you getting any rashes from if you're allergic to glue, etc., or have allergies. I've been using this glue a long time, so I know I'm okay. So now we're going to add that top layer of the welly, and I was just demonstrating there it's like a Wellington and a banana, and it's got a curve to it. So we're going to put that to the top there, and then we're going to add this lovely little decorative bow. So cute. But again, this could be a man's welly. You don't have to add the bow, you could add the buckle. And this could be a dad card, father card, brother card. So as you'll see, we are going to add the Wellington boot flat to the centre of the card, and that's because, yes, it does pop out and is dimensional, but when the card is folded inwards for posting, it will be flat. So we don't want this part to be too bulky, otherwise the card isn't going to shut properly. So we're always trying to find nice dimensional cards that have a feature, but we also want them to fall flat in the post, and this is a perfect example. So as you can see, we're putting one slightly higher than the other, and then just hold those till you know the glue is grabbed. And as you can see, both Wellington boots are completely flat on the centre of this card. So now we're going to add a sentiment, and again we're going to add this to a special sister, and we're going to add the wet adhesive to the back of the panel. Now this could be any type of decorative layering die that you have in your stash. This just happens to be one I like to use quite often. It's got a nice shape, and there we've added the other sentiment to the other side. So this one's going to go flat, and then the other side we're actually going to add some foam pads to give it some dimension, and we can, because that is going to be the outer edge of the card. So we're just going to put a foam pad on the back there and place that on there, and then we've made some lovely little flowers from the set. So we've gone with a really nice cheerful yellow colour there, and we've got some of the little sprigs that we've cut. So I'm just going to add a sprig to the top and bottom, again using the wet adhesive. There we go, into view. And then we're going to add one to the bottom just the same way. I'm sure my husband's being noisy deliberately because he knows I'm filming. I'm going to throttle him in a minute. I should have one of those neon signs that said, "Be quiet, I'm filming." Now there's an idea. So here we're going to add the fern to the other side. It just adds a nice little feature, makes it a little bit more cheerful looking with the yellow, because we're heading to that time where we want colour and sunny days. So I'm just adding that sprig with the glue on the back of my hand. I find it easier to get adhesive all over that way. And then again, we're going to add these flowers with a little bit of adhesive at the bottom. Now, when this card's finished, I will actually go and add some dimensional drops, some Nuvo drops. But for showing you now, I'm going to leave them off because obviously I want to stand the card up to show you what it looks like. And obviously if I add drops at this point, we'll still have some runny drops all over the card. So as you'll see, what you'll do is you'll put the left hand over the centre, the right hand over the top, and then it forms a 4x4 square card. Now you could add some triangular pieces of paper to add more of a feature on the front if you want to. You can add a piece over the back if you don't like to see that down the centre, but it will not fall apart, so it's not actually necessary. And then when you come to stand the card up on the mantelpiece, you will tuck the left side underneath the centre and the right side under the centre. And then when you stand it up onto the mantelpiece or the windowsill, you've got a dimensional card. And I just think that's lovely. It's nice for it to be posted flat, but then it will pop up and stand on the mantle there. So I just think that's such a bright, sunny card, cheerful card, and handy to put in a 4x4 envelope. We're all looking for flatter cards to post and smaller cards to post. And yeah, I really like this card. So I hope you've enjoyed creating this. Well, you'll create this with me if you want to make it, if you've decided to purchase this die set. It will be available from Tonic Direct in 2 weeks' time. And that's where you'll be able to purchase it. And I just want to say thank you very much for joining me today. And happy crafting, everybody. Bye for now.